It's when the 2024 Republican field gathers in Milwaukee this Wednesday. The frontrunner won't be there. Instead, he's expected to be interviewed by former Fox News host Tucker Carlson. Ashley Etienne and Hogan Gidley join us now. Ashley is a CBS News contributor and the former communications director for Vice President Kamala Harris and former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Hogan served as White House Deputy Press Secretary in the Trump administration and also served as National Press Secretary for Trump's 2020 re-election campaign. Great to have you both here. Ashley, how do Democrats see it if Trump doesn't show up? Is it a story? Are Democrats going to be paying close attention?
I think Trump not showing up works to the Democrats' advantage. I think the question is how Pence, Christie, and even Asa Hutchinson's going to handle it. I think the anticipation is that they lean in and reiterate what they've said on the campaign trail, which is that the indictments have merit and that the former president's attempt to overturn the election are disqualifying. So in some respects, it's almost better that he's not there. And so that's a position of the Democratic Party.
Who's the target for most of the candidates on stage if the former president's not there as the front runner?
Well, look, Donald Trump's not going to be on stage, but he is going to be in the room. I imagine a large portion of the first segment will be about Donald Trump. People are going to have to answer questions about him. They hate that, of course, because debates are about creating moments and trying to build momentum around something. And so because he's not there, I think after a certain period of time, they're going to shift into what they would do, how they would govern if they were president of the United States. And so in large measure, I think these people are going to try to run in that lane of I'm Donald Trump's his policies without his personality. But I don't know that they have the ability to climb that rung of the ladder to get close enough to him. Look, all the people you just played, Pence and everyone else who says everyone should be up on that debate stage, I find it hard to believe that if they were up 40 points in polling, they'd want to be on that debate stage. In fact, they'd probably sit the first couple out and see how it shaked out. However, if you're going to get to Donald Trump, you're going to have to go one rung at a time. So you're going to have to ping off each other and try and take someone else out to get that next step, to get close enough to Trump to take him on head to head.
Ashley?
No, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens at the debate. I think this is a very important moment for the Republican Party. I mean, the question that I've been asking, even when you and I last spoke in an interview, which is, where do the Republicans draw the line? They'll have to answer that question on that debate stage. Where do they draw the line? The former president's been indicted 4 times on charges that are the most egregious offenses to our national security as well as our democracy. So that's going to be the question. And I'm really curious to see how they're going to handle that particular issue to their advantage, each one of the candidates. I will say this, too, that the Biden campaign anticipates that each of these candidates are going to try to out-MAGA each other, right? And so, that would sort of push them into these subjects that aren't really having great resonance with GOP primary voters, like the woke movement that DeSantis is pushing, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that's going to be the question, is they anticipate that these guys are going to go down, become out-MAGA each other, and really, I should say, marginalize independent voters as well as soft Republican voters to Democrats' advantage.
Let's pick up on something Ashley just said. There is a huge divide, according to this new CBS News poll, about how Republican voters see the investigations of the former president and how they see democracy, issues related to January 6th, and how Democratic voters see it. What does that mean for the Republican primary race? But does it have any consequences, in your view, Hogan, for the general election, should Trump be the nominee, if some voters feel the total opposite of how Republicans feel?
Well, I'm not shocked that Democrats feel the total opposite of Republicans, but that's going to be litigated in time. Right now, Republicans have to flesh out who can be the best one to carry forth the mantle of the Republican Party. Obviously, Donald Trump way out in front there, and everyone's going to be jockeying for that position. I mean, the fact is, a lot of these folks are going to point to policies Donald Trump actually implemented. And what they're going to say is, I promise if you elect me, I'm going to do those things. And that very well may be the case. But the fact is, you have a former president who, quite frankly, implemented those policies. So why do Republican voters, why are they pausing over whether we should pick someone else when we know we have a proven commodity in Donald Trump? Obviously, the investigations, the indictments loom large. There are going to be a lot of conversations about that, but that remains to be seen how it would affect a general election. It's going to take some time to get there.
Can I just say this? The one consistent factor across all these polls, there's a lot of talks about CBS poll versus the NBC poll. The consistent factor is that Republican primary voters are still shopping. The majority of them are still shopping. The latest CBS poll shows that 50% of the GOP primary voters are persuadable. So that gives someone a really big opportunity come Wednesday to really lay out this big vision, separate and apart from Donald Trump, lay out this big vision of how they want to move the country forward. The question is whether or not someone can walk the fine line of keeping and sort of peeling away some of the MAGA voters from Donald Trump, as well as making
inroads. There is that opening, and people are looking to hear the case of the others. You do wonder, will Trump pay a political cost for not showing up?
Well, my real question I have yet to answer is, will the person who tries to take down Donald Trump be able to get those voters to coalesce behind them? Because the understanding here is, if you mortally wound Donald Trump and prevent him from getting the nomination, that MAGA base is not going to be on your side. They're going to be angry that you did that.
But it's not the majority.
So, well, it's not the majority, but it's a large number you're going to need. It's a
Sure.
good 37%, 32% of the vote that may not turn out for you, that may be angry at you, and then you're going to have problems getting the rest of the voters on your side.
Well,
and remember, it was Chris Christie, the best murder-suicide in political history. He takes down Rubio. He gets none of his votes. They both went down because of it.
We know Senator Marco Rubio has a bit of a different perspective on murder-suicide. Would not be the phrase he would use. But we could keep this conversation going all night, but we're going to have to leave it there. Ashley Etienne and Hogan Gidley, thanks so much for being here.